Cooper's meeting with Elvio's grandmother and landman is one of those quiet scenes that carries far more weight than it initially appears to. On the surface, it looks like a simple, respectful visit. In reality, it represents a turning point for Cooper's character and reinforces one of the show's core themes. The human cost of the oil business doesn't end when the cameras leave the worksite. This moment forces Cooper to confront consequences that can't be managed with money, apologies, or company policy. By the time Cooper meets Elvio's grandmother, he's already carrying guilt over Elvio's fate. Elvio wasn't just another worker on the patch. He was someone Cooper knew, someone whose life intersected with his in a personal way. The meeting strips away any remaining emotional distance. Standing in front of Elvio's grandmother, Cooper isn't a worker, a boyfriend, or a man tied to MTech's orbit. He's simply someone facing the family left behind, and there's no corporate shield to hide behind. Elvio's grandmother represents a generation that understands hardship differently. She's not interested in legal explanations, safety protocols, or industry jargon. Her grief is grounded, quiet, and deeply rooted in family and memory. When she speaks to Cooper, there's no accusation in her tone, but that absence of anger is what makes the scene hit harder. Her calm forces Cooper to sit with the reality that loss doesn't always come with shouting or blame. Sometimes it arrives softly, and that softness is devastating. For Cooper, the meeting becomes a moment of moral reckoning. Up until this point, he's been struggling with his place in the oil world and what it says about him as a person. Seeing Elvio's grandmother puts a face to the consequences he's been trying not to think about. It's no longer abstract. It's not an accident or a tragedy. It's a woman who lost someone she loved, and Cooper is now part of that story whether he wants to be or not. What makes the scene especially powerful is that Elvio's grandmother doesn't ask Cooper for anything. She doesn't demand justice, money, or revenge. Instead, she offers perspective. In her eyes, life is fragile, and people do what they must to survive. That doesn't excuse what happened, but it reframes it. This quiet wisdom forces Cooper to recognize that responsibility doesn't always mean punishment. Sometimes it means remembering, honoring, and choosing differently moving forward. The meeting also highlights how disconnected the upper levels of MTechs are from the human fallout of their decisions. While executives debate deals and damage control, Cooper is standing in a home shaped by loss. This contrast reinforces Landman's ongoing critique of the industry. The show isn't just about power struggles and takeovers. It's about the emotional wreckage left behind when things go wrong. Cooper becomes the audience's stand-in here, witnessing what the boardrooms never do. Emotionally, this moment accelerates Cooper's internal conflict about his future. The guilt he feels isn't just about Elvio. It's about whether he can continue participating in a system that produces outcomes like this. Elvio's grandmother doesn't push him to leave, but her presence makes it harder for him to justify staying without change. The meeting plants a seed that his life choices need to mean something beyond survival or loyalty to the wrong people. There's also an important cultural undertone in the scene. Elvio's grandmother embodies tradition, family, and endurance. Her values clash sharply with the transactional nature of the oil business. This contrast subtly questions what kind of legacy Cooper wants to be part of. Is he going to be remembered as someone who stood by while others paid the price, or someone who learned and changed because he saw the cost firsthand? By the time Cooper leaves, nothing is neatly resolved, and that's intentional. The meeting isn't meant to provide closure. It's meant to deepen discomfort. Cooper walks away heavier, more aware, and less certain about the path he's on. That uncertainty is the point. Landman uses this quiet interaction to show that growth doesn't always come from dramatic confrontations. Sometimes it comes from sitting across from grief and realizing you can't outrun it. Ultimately, Cooper's meeting with Elvio's grandmother matters because it humanizes the story in a way no explosion or corporate betrayal ever could. It reminds both Cooper and the audience that behind every incident is a family altered forever. Whether Cooper acts on this realization remains to be seen, but the moment itself ensures that Elvio's death won't be forgotten or minimized. In a show filled with power plays and shifting alliances, this scene stands out as a reminder that some consequences linger long after the deals are done.